Welcome back, everyone. My name is Avi, and this is the channel FinesseSingh. Today, we step into the true beginning of VinterGard. Episode 2 is all about the heart of the park. It's the entrance. It's the first thing the guests see, the experience. It's the moment that sets the tone for the entire world that we're building. I'm excited to see what you guys think at the end, what we built, how it looks, how everything kind of meshed together. And so I'm hoping that you guys do enjoy today's episode, and if you have any suggestions or comments on the style of video and the way I'm moving forward with this series, please let me know in the comments. If you think that I can slow down my speed build a little bit just so you can see how certain scenery pieces to go together, I can definitely do something like that. So please let me know and I will make the adjustments that need to be done. And I'm always happy to, because in this YouTube world, even in this game and anything in life, you have to be able to take suggestions, and if it applies, if it works, then definitely do what you got to do. Sometimes you're going to get suggestions that might not make too much sense, but you can't be offended or you can't be sour about it. You just have to take it as a grain of salt and keep moving forward. So before I start to go on a tangent, I'm going to let you guys know what's going on in this episode today, and also what's going on in the video at this moment. So right now we're building the first gate, the initial archway that the guest will see as they disembark off of the ferries. I wanted to make sure that this isn't only the first thing that the guests are seeing, but it also really does set that tone for the kind of architecture style that guests will be experiencing throughout the park. I usually, when I'm building anything in Planet Coaster 2, I really get my start in building I want to say like a silhouette, and after I get an idea, that's when I start to add all my details, fill in some of those gaps, and really bring it all together. So right now what you're seeing, we have that silhouette of what one pillar will look like, and then you'll see later on into this clip, it will be duplicated 3 more times just to complete the look. But after I get the initial idea of the structure, it's really easy for me to go from there and start adding all the different scenery pieces. So for me, the most difficult part is having the layout. Where do I want something to sit, and how large does it need to be? That is one of my areas that I'm hoping to improve as I keep playing this game, as well as editing and making YouTube videos. I'm hoping that I catch my errors and also catch things that I might not be picking up when I'm just playing as a casual. So I'm hoping that you guys also enjoy this process, and if this video is a little bit longer, it's because I want you guys to see my building process, as well as how I think my projects through, how I think about how building is going to look. So you're going to see moments where I keep adding something and seeing if it fits. I might add it, complete it all the way around a building to all 4 sides, 5, 6, however many sides there are to the building I'm on, and I might delete it. That's just how I build. It's until I don't see what the actual product looks like, I can't just play a guessing game with myself. So what I used to be hard on myself about is, if I'm gonna put it on the building, it has to be almost like final. Like, I don't want to keep coming back to it and then replacing it. And I think by doing that, I was limiting my own creativity and freedom in how I build. So something I've been getting better about is letting myself add all the different parts that I need to. If I like it, it works. If it doesn't, it'll be changed. I might be the only one who does it that way, or used to do it at least, and I've gotten better about it, but I think that by letting yourself be free while you're building, it's so essential. It really opens up your eyes to like, oh wow, I really did that. You're seeing that process happen right now. You saw me put down a metal piece. I have this certain image, this idea in my head on how I want the metal to stick out next to the brick building. Sorry, I have something in my throat. But I didn't want it to overwhelm the whole pillar. So I needed something that was thick enough, but also has a presence that you know it's there and it's holding the structure together. After some trial and error, this is what we got, and I was really happy with it. And at the bottom base, the larger base of the pillar, you see a Viking trim piece that came in very handy. I was surprised how well that worked, because at first look I was like, is this actually gonna work, or am I fooling myself? For some reason, especially from a distance, it really does work. It really goes well with this Nordic theme that we have. So I'm really happy the way this initial gate is looking like and the way it's coming out, and we will be adding more to it as time goes. But I believe the hard part is over when coming to building anything like this. When you get that, before you have the base, the foundation done, that's the tough stage. After you get that, adding all of the details and all of the scenery pieces that really make it come together, that part does get a little bit easier, to be honest. So right here you've seen me test out a lamp style that I wanted to add on there. Initially I was thinking that, you know, this lantern, I can't just let it float there. It has to have some kind of base, and to add to the realism, it needs to have something that kind of tells that, hey, there's a reason it's here, and it's here effectively. It's not just sitting there because it's there. And we can do that in this game, right? We can just make something float in the air and it won't be questioned. But if you want to add a little bit of realism to a park, when you add something, I think it's crucial to give reasoning to it. Why is it there and how is it there? And so that's what I really focus on with my builds, is as I'm adding something, I have to make it make sense. I believe a lot more people will do this, especially when they build their coasters in this game. I hope you guys are easy on me when the coaster building session comes. I'm still learning in that department, but I'll hear from you guys when that time comes. I'm just getting a little ahead of myself. But I think when it comes to adding architecture and scenery to a park, giving it a little bit of a realistic look, unless you're going for a complete fantasy park, I believe there's a YouTube channel, Channel 5 Gaming. Excellent channel. Love watching their stuff, especially when they do park spotlights. But they had these two spotlights. One was a Halo themed spotlight, and a second was this almost like Dungeons and Dragons, and more focused on the dragons aspect of a park, where there was dragons flying in the air, coasters flying all over the place. It was unrealistic but beautifully done. If that's the focus you go for, I love it, and you can build some amazing things, because at the end of the day, this is a simulation game. We have the freedom to do whatever we want. But sometimes it is a lot of fun to add realism to a park, and that's something I really enjoy doing with my park builds, is making a really enjoyable experience, not only for myself and the viewer, but the guests that are in this park. Always asking myself, would I visit this? Will I come back here if I was in this universe where this park exists? So when you ask yourself those questions, you start to get a little bit more crucial on how you start to place things, where things will go, and making the overall look of something look. I think I just repeated myself. I'm sorry about that. But I hope you guys are getting the initial idea that I'm going for. And so as you're seeing this archway gate being built, I'm really trying to add those metal pieces that even as you're walking along this park, you might not see this, but it does add to the framework. It gives reason to why something is there and how is it there. it really brings the whole, not just structure together, but the park together. It's the same thing I did with the, I believe in the last episode I showed you guys the pathway I was building that led up to the clock tower on top of the hill. As you're on the train, you're never going to see that pathway. But having it there adds that realism. It's something that when you look back, for myself especially, when I look back at this park, maybe 5-6 months from now, a year from now, I'll remember those small details I added, and I'm gonna appreciate it. And so as we keep going with this build, you guys are gonna see something that definitely frustrated me. I had this idea that I wanted a somewhat circular piece to go into these I guess you can call them almost triangle, like half triangle shapes. But what I had built, it really wasn't working, and it looked so funky. And again, that's me telling you guys, like I did at the start of this episode, I'm really gonna show you guys the thinking process I go through when I go through these builds in this video. You're gonna see it again right here with these chains. I wanted to add a certain effect along these, I believe they're called metal girder. Hope I'm saying that right. I don't think I've ever been able to say that word right, but I might be saying it right now. You guys can let me know. I wanted to have this almost rivets-like look and chain-like look, and I really was able to get that with those sorcery piece chains. It really worked well by just sinking them in a little bit and then just having that little piece stick out, and it worked perfectly. And again, with the sorcery DLC pack, these lantern holders or lamppost designs, it perfectly achieved that circular metal look that I was looking for earlier that you guys saw me build. Again, I've said this before, you can take scenery pieces that are not meant to go somewhere and it will work. Again, right here, this little piece that usually is meant to be on a lamppost really worked great as a base for, I forget the name of the I guess you can call this animatronic. It's that sorcery pack rotating piece, this one right here. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. There's some words that I know I can't say right, and this is one of those words. Armorily? I'm not going to try. I'm sorry, guys. It's just not going to happen. So I will practice that on my off time, and we will try in the next video. Maybe we'll try it. So here, again, adding to the realism, making it make sense. It's not just a base that's sitting up there. It's got to be screwed in. It's got to have a reason to be there, and the guest is never going to see that. But I like to know that it's been done that way. It's like when you're constructing something, you're adding all of the rebar, you're adding the wood structure, the metal structures, really getting that base and foundation done before you even put up the plaster walls or anything else. That same ideology can be used in this game. And I believe when you do that, you really get these beautiful structures in this game. There's so many YouTubers out there that do the same thing I'm talking about. I think I saw... I know the YouTuber. It's Rudy of his YouTube channel, Rudy Rencamel. But I'm trying to remember if it was his Hanseatic Dreamland Park or another one, where he really built realistic structures that had that foundation look to it, and it came along so well because of that ideology he kept, that it's gonna look real, it's gonna have the base, the foundation, the walls that you're never gonna see, the metal pieces holding certain things together, you'll never see them, but it's there. As you're seeing that process happen, just like here, you're seeing that process happen. Look how well it comes together. I'm gonna go, and this is a theme I'm gonna keep with the rest of this park, I'm gonna go for that exposed look for the metal, because it really adds to the modern, I guess I want to say modern theme that I'm going with this park. It's not just, like I said, it is a Nordic park, but it is a modern take on a Nordic park. So having that exposed metal the way that looks, I think works so well. And it's something I'm going to do on the second gate, but also throughout this park. And I think you guys are going to appreciate it. You guys can let me know in the comments. It does give a little bit steampunk vibe, but I'm going to try my best not to go so heavy on the steampunk look and try to keep it to a certain original idea that I have. And again, going to point out, look how well this sorcery pieces are working. They are so versatile. It was used as a corner piece. Now I'm able to use it as a structure, not only to make this beautiful pattern on top of our plasma screen that is right now projecting a custom media that I made, which I will try to make some more custom media throughout the park. However, when I do share this park to the workshop, I will do my best to make sure that I share the custom media, but if you guys aren't able to, especially on Xbox and PlayStation gamers that play this game, I will find a way to basically replace the custom media stuff and add the Planet Coaster themes on there. As well as here, instead of having the VinterGard projection screen, it'll basically be written out in 3D font VinterGard. Just so you guys aren't missing out on anything, and also I am not just making a park so exclusive that you need custom media. On top of that, I enjoy doing it. I love being able to share my work and share it, not just being able to share it here on YouTube with you guys, whether it be one viewer, 3, 4, 5 viewers, or somebody sees something on my Frontier workshop and they really enjoyed it, and they find my YouTube channel somehow through that, and then they let me know. I think even just one person saying that, I think that's amazing. But again, I do this because I love sharing my work, sharing how I think and really what my build process is like. So I really hope that you guys are able to enjoy it too. And you guys let me know. Again, if there's something in the video that you guys see that you think that I can do better on or can be improved on, I'm very open to suggestions and always ready to see what you guys have to say. It's just like everything else in life, everything is a learning process. And this game, making videos on YouTube and learning to edit, it's all a learning process. I'm trying to keep as much of an open mind to it, and by doing so, I'm able to not only be creative and create some amazing things, create some amazing parks, hopefully get my editing skills to a level that I can really be appreciative of, but really get to see your guys' reaction to it, and I'm looking forward to all of that. So as again, I have to catch myself when I go on these tangents. Right here, we're building a bit of a garden that's gonna break up the cobblestone path. I think it really adds to the overall look of the entrance area, because not only does it make a regular wide path that looks a little mundane or boring more exciting, but it does again add to that realism that, you know, there was somebody here that is upkeeping this. They're making sure it's watered, it is well maintained. There's so many aspects of that in a park. You see that in so many different amusement parks and theme parks throughout the world, from Disneyland to Thorpe Park to Universal, all kinds of parks around the world that you will see maintenance being done on a regular basis. And so by adding something like this little small garden in between the path, you really do get to add to the overall look of the park. And by doing so, you can, trying to stay on topic, I want to make sure that, you know, when you do that, you're not making the area look too busy. It really comes together. Sometimes, like myself, I'll catch myself, you can overdo it. And so when that happens, you just correct it. Sometimes when you overdo it, it turns out great, but other times it looks too busy, and you just check where it's too busy and you delete and you start over. You just make it work. And so right here, we're getting into something Rudy says, filling in the gaps. This is so crucial because, like in this scene, I'm adding hedges to really give that border to the path, because around this there will be large pine trees surrounding the guest and this whole overall area. I think filling in the gaps is so crucial because if you're trying to give this forced perception, this look that, you know, this is where you want the guest to look, this is the experience you want to give your guest, filling in those areas that look empty or might not have any reason, it just doesn't work for some reason. Even putting a small planters, putting in some bushes there goes such a long way. So right here, I'm doing the same thing with these rocks. It's the river that goes across the entrance area right through the bridge under the secondary gate. It adds so much more to your parks. And as we move on, we are getting into our lighting of the park. Something that I've been making sure that I do in my park builds is trying to build custom lampposts. I think Frontier's provided us with some amazing lampposts as they are, but some of them can be blended in wonderfully. An issue that I do have is I know that the reasoning behind it and the thinking they had when they built and made them the way they are is the sorcery pack lamppost, and I believe it was a western one, this one that I have right here. When you place them along a path, they're not lighting up the path as well as you would hope. However, the ones that do light up the path and really give that, you know, there's light here kind of look, are the Planet Coaster themed lamppost. They really have a wide range for their reach on the light. And so what I've learned to do, it was a few parks back, is take those lampposts, minimize them a little bit, and if there's another lamppost like I did here with the western lamppost, take it and put it on top of your Planet Coaster themed lamppost. Not only do you get to now light up a whole path, which also helps you, you know, keep it in line. Sorry, not keep it in line, but makes you use less lampposts along your paths. Because if I just took this western lamppost and started sticking them along the path, I would have to use way more. But as you see here, the range of light that I'm getting, let's say right here, you're gonna see it. Just in this area, I'm gonna add two, one here, one there. I might have to add, let's say 3 to 4 more lights just in this area, just to compensate with the I want to say more dimmed look that the regular, like, you know, sorcery pack lamps or the western lamps have. But by taking those lamps, if you like them, and making them a little bit larger and sticking them on top of the Planet Coaster themed lamps, which are a lot brighter, you can really get that look that you're looking for and get to use a lot less lamps. And so now, here we are to the second gate. This was honestly a lot of fun to make. I had an idea in my head, and for some reason that idea kept changing as I was building this park. Once I got to this first pillar, once I got to the top and I was putting in these metal girders, I don't know what happened, but I just kept getting inspired to, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna add this, oh, this will look good here. It just kept happening to the point where I ended up connecting this whole gate into a bridge system. You guys are gonna see this. It worked out really well. I was pretty surprised with the result and honestly proud of myself and able to achieve such a, what looked like should not have worked ended up working so well. So I'm excited for you guys to see that. I'm going to let you guys enjoy a little bit of a speed build. We're gonna put some of that music up a little bit, and I will see you guys in a little bit here. So here it is, the first official gateway into VinterGard. Two massive archways guarding the path, a frost-covered bridge leading toward the main street, and the beginning of a world shaped by winter and myth. I'm really excited with the way everything turned out with this area. It couldn't have come together any better. I know there's a few details and I would say scenery pieces that could be added, especially along the train path, but all in all it looks great, especially from the guest POV, and I will show you guys that pretty soon here. One thing that I will be changing after this video is this sign right here for VinterGard with the custom media. I was trying to see if it works better at this gate or if it would work better at the second gate that enters into the park officially. And the more I look at it, the more I realize it looks a lot better here because of the rectangle shape of the sign, as well as the more roughed edge square shape of this bridge, archway, gate, if you want to call it, area. So the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm realizing this is gonna stay the way it is, but the one that's at the start here before the guests get onto the train will most likely be changed to something similar to what I have done with the outpost station. So what I'm thinking is we take the 3D font and try to find a way to, I guess, seamlessly blend it into the metal beams just so it looks like it's meant to be there, as well as spread the letters out just so it goes all the way across the gate. And the second thing that I want to do is take the tagline "Cold Hands, Warm Hearts, Wild Rides" and add that in between the pillars. I think that'll really add to the aesthetic of the area, and also I believe a couple of theme parks around the world do take that same idea. They'll add a bit of a tagline or storytelling for the park and add it throughout the gate just to really give that first impression to guests. And that's basically what we're doing here, right? Is to really give that first amazing impression so that the guests really know what they're getting into, because at the end of the day, this is the heart of our park. So we'll get right into that. Before I do the guest POV, two things that I'll tell you guys. You guys did not see the build of the ticket booth as well as the information booth and this house right here. Those were 3 buildings that I didn't get to get into the YouTube video, was because I lost that footage. So I'm sorry about that, but I will make sure that we do better for future videos. As for the story behind the house that sits atop this, I guess we can call this isolated cliff or hill. It's basically about a gentleman that lives permanently here in VinterGard, and he maintains the park, especially during off seasons. He'll hire a crew during those off seasons, and they'll chop trees, collect the logs into these piles. I also added these machineries to really bring that story to life, so that as guests are riding the train, they really see it all to come together and can piece together what is going on along this path before they enter VinterGard. So I think that really came out nicely. A couple details I will be adding to this house alone is make the interior look more like a living room, as well as add a fireplace and a chimney coming out, just so that when guests are riding around it in the train, it gives that homely aesthetic. I think that's the way I can say that, but yeah. Besides that, I was looking at the staircase path that this gentleman's taking. And also, side note, if you guys can think of a better name for this gentleman that maintains VinterGard for us, please let me know in the comments, because I'm having trouble thinking of the perfect name, but we'll get there. So as I was looking at this staircase, I was thinking, I'm like, is this guy really walking up this either every day, as well as taking this cart of wood, which he'll most likely be using to put in his fireplace to heat up his home? If he's doing that, that's incredible, and what an exercise that is. But other than that, it does look pretty real so far. Besides this, if I think of something else, I'll put it in, but other than that, I think it really came really nicely together. So now we'll get into we'll do a quick little guest path POV. We'll bring you guys over here. We'll just change the lighting a little bit, just so you guys can see the lampposts really come into effect, the ones that we built earlier into the video. I think if we do 7 a.m., it's a pretty good time, because the lampposts do turn on as well as the other lights, and it's not super dark yet. Because if we do 6 a.m., it is a lot more dark, and I don't think we're going to see too much detail of the park in that, although it looks wonderful. So we'll just do 7 a.m. for now. So we'll enter there, turn off the overlay, and we'll see what the guests are seeing when they enter VinterGard. So as they get off this ferry, they'll come off of this wooden dock and onto the cobblestone path. And so far it looks wonderful, especially with these mini gardens breaking up the cobblestone path. I think it came out really nicely. I don't think it distracts too much away from the overall archway gate, but it looks great. I love this look right here. As you're seeing the outpost station through the archways, it has to be amazing. So far it looks great. I'm really happy with the style of the townhouse walls as well. And as we come over here, you'll see the ticket booth, and then we do have a couple of options for passes that the guests can buy. Basically, once they get a pass, the train ride and everything else will be included. The train ride isn't a separate fee or anything, so we'll make everything all inclusive. You've got your day pass, you got the VIP pass, which will give them access to all the priority lines and flat rides, coasters, and I'll try to do my best to make sure I do add priority lanes or lines in each ride, because sometimes you build out the area and you don't have enough space for the queue. I'll do my best to make sure that we have that space so that we have use for a VIP pass and guests will actually buy it. And then after that, we've got our kids pass and tour pass. And tour pass will basically mean it'll be for guests that don't want to take rides, have a day where there's just thrills, and they can just focus on enjoying the ambiance and the scenery of the park. It's something, if I was living near this park, I would definitely take advantage of a tour pass just to spend a day, have a picnic, eat at one of the restaurants. I believe Universal has a very small version of this right before you enter the park, where they have that little Main Street plaza with all the restaurants, but keeping in theme with Universal, with the movie vibes and all of that. I think it goes really well. So instead of having it before the park, guests have a option to venture through the park and not have to focus on the rides or even worry about doing the rides. They can just enjoy where they are, enjoy a day out, a night, a date, a family outing, anything like that. So as the guests come through there, they'll enter this queue, which I believe generally max will have 10-minute wait, because I will have a lot of trains running at once. At this time, I believe we only have 4, probably increase that to 6, just so we don't have to have the guests wait for too long. And you guys have already seen this train path ride, so we'll just head right over into the station where the guests will get off and enter VinterGard. So as they come through this area, they will see this gate right away. I think it came out really nice. It's high enough to have that impression, but also not so ridiculous and overwhelming that it overtakes the whole place, especially if you're walking through the park. I didn't want it to be something that like you're still seeing it from so far. So I think honestly the look of it, I'm really happy with it. I don't plan to make any changes except for one thing, and I will let you guys know that in a second here. We've got our information booth. Guests can buy park maps here, umbrellas, anything they need that they might have forgotten at home, as well as a bathroom right over here, because you know we need that. And I'll make sure I do a good job of having bathrooms throughout the park, because we don't want to have any issues. So we'll make sure the guests are comfortable, as well as a staff path over here. So we have 2 facility buildings, one behind this and one inside there. I do plan to remove the staff facility building and the gate, because I realized something after I build, and this is the change I was telling you guys. The only change I'll be making to this gate is making this pathway ADA approved. I realized afterwards, anybody on a wheelchair or any other disabled person that is going to have trouble with stairs doesn't really have access to this park at the moment. So my plan is to take this path, change it from a staff path, and make it connect over here into a regular path. And we'll basically imagine that this is a mini elevator that shoots up to the 2nd floor, and anybody in a wheelchair who's not able to walk along the stairs can take this pathway. Originally, this pathway was for staff they might need to take sensitive cargo or things that need to be protected from the weather, like rain or snow. But now I'm realizing it can still be used for that, especially from this side, because we have it on both ways, and it can also be ADA approved, so that will solve that issue. Secondly, I wanted to make sure that the guests walking along the bridge path are seen through the gate. I guess that would be the gate. This would be the path in between the gate. I didn't want it to be a blocked view, and then that's the first thing you see. I am going to focus on force perception throughout this park, but I wanted to make sure that just to add to the openness of this area, that we had these see-through walls, basically putting a glass there and then having a protective lining on the outside. I wanted to make sure that the guests are able to see through what they're entering, because I really like the look of the frozen river as well as the trees coming through. It really all comes together so nicely. And as they come down these stairs, we're gonna enter Main Street. And as you can see in the next video, we'll be getting into the build of Main Street, and this is the first building right here. I was testing out how I want to make the smaller buildings look, the bigger buildings, as well as if you see those windows on the roof, there's not a scenery piece in the game right now that really matches the aesthetic that window piece I built right there has. There are, I forget the name of them, but nothing was matching. So what I wanted to do was take the same townhouse wall pieces and add it up there, and to be honest, it came out really nice. So I tested it out there and added it over here. I'll be breaking down this building style and how it was done a lot more in the next video, so we will definitely be getting into that. Until then, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Take care. And just like that, episode 2 is wrapped up. Thank you for joining me in finishing up the heart of VinterGard, getting our entrance all done and ready. If you guys enjoyed today's video and you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button. Until next time, cannot wait to share more content for you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.